Coast to Coast Classic for the Jim McQuaid Perpetual Trophy. 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And a group here remembering the great man. His brother Paddy, Joe McCormick, Jack Barnes, Jack Ryan, an old racing colleague.
Obviously for the McQuaid family, the race is in memory of my late father, Jim McQuaid. This race holds special memories for him. On the first Coast to Coast, he won the first stage. He beat all the top Englishmen. Today we have 20 of the very best English riders over for this weekend's Coast to Coast. We're trying, in that respect, to reorganise the Coast to Coast as it was originally designed.
We've got a strong team here. We've got John Tannett with the lads in, and I think if we ride well, we could come out of it quite well. We just got to try and follow every move and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's a real strong team, one of the strongest here. The only one's got really well about is Ireland and England. This team go, but just see how it goes as the race goes.
It's about 4 years ago I rode it, and I was in contention for the overall on the last day, but I was beaten on points in the finish. So I know the course and I know the distance, so I hope to get up overall.
Well, there we heard and saw Jim McQuaid Jr., son of the late Jim. John Charles was for the English team, Matt Postle from the Welsh team. Last minute instructions here. And of course we saw Stephen Spratt as well. Really some very outstanding riders in it. It's worth remembering as they set out for Galway from Lucan here about the McQuaid dynasty in Irish cycling. Jim McQuaid himself rode in the Olympic Games in 1948. 20 years later he was manager of the Irish team at the Olympic Games, and sons Kieran and Oliver also rode the Olympic Games. And in 1984, when all 4 Irish cyclists finished the Olympic road race, another son, Pat, was the manager of the Irish team. Pat McQuaid, co-commentator.
Yes, Jimmy, certainly goes back a long time, but this race today here now, very, very daunting prospect. 130 miles from Dublin to Galway on the Saturday and then back on the Sunday. And it really is a long race and a long stage, and anything can happen in it. It's a very, very good, very high quality field. All the top riders in Ireland, plus, as we heard, 20 of the best English riders over here. So a terrific racing prospect as we're coming up here to the first preem now, being sprinted out here by John Sheehan in front of Paul Kennedy, and Sheehan takes it out quite easily. An excellent sprinter, Sheehan, and he's certainly going for the hotspot sprints.
That was the one at Enfield in the county of Kildare. This Welsh team strong when we saw Matt Postle there at the top. Richard Wolves is with them, Daniel Wedley and Julian Wynne. That's sponsored by the Stanley Cookers. So they're a very strong team indeed. John Charles with them, a good Diamondback English team with them. And the Irish are strong all the way through. Young Irish lads like Stephen Marr and Peter Daly and Eamon Byrne are to be watched. And of course, another of the McQuaids, another of the dynasty, Darragh McQuaid, is in the field. So is Stephen Spratt, Ian Chivers. It would be difficult to pick out a winner as they set out in the early stages of this. 4 hotspots on the way to Galway. Here's another one upcoming, Pat.
Yes, the second one again taken by John Sheehan in front of Paul Kennedy and Stephen Byrne. That is at Kinnegad. John Sheehan taking that one easily.
Kinnegad in the county of Westmeath. A good bit of crowd involvement in it all the way along. You see people coming out of the hostelries and just having a look. Got a fair deal of publicity, the race. And as we look at them going up here, number 45 here is David Pilo from the Midwest. Stephen Spratt, the big man in the multicolour there on the left of picture, just now going out of picture. Stephen Spratt, always a very keen contender, was an Irish Olympian in Seoul in 1988. And of course the inevitable wheel changes.
Yes, puncture here for Darragh McQuaid now as they're approaching Athlone. Very good, very quick wheel change, and then he's back on the bike before the race convoy has passed.
There's another hot spot coming up in Athlone. Remember that John Sheehan has won the first 2 at Enfield and Kinnegad, one in Kildare, one in Westmeath, and this one in Athlone is either in Westmeath or Roscommon. You can take your pick. The field still pretty much all together here. Number 21 we're looking at is Darragh McQuaid getting back in among the action. What a weekend it would be for Darragh if he were to win the Jim McQuaid Perpetual Trophy. Good pace on the race.
Yes, the wind's a big factor on a race like this because you're going in one direction all day, right across from Dublin to Galway, and if the wind is anyway favourable, it can make for a very, very fast race. We're looking at Peter Daly here of the Irish team, racing in France now, currently all season, and riding very well over there.
There you go through, you see the Welsh colours, Charles Worth in there too, Stephen Spratt, Peter Daly, big Stephen Marr, one of the tallest cyclists in the game. If you get a chance close up, he's number 2. One of the young Irish riders with him and Byrne and Peter Daly and Tommy Evans. That's the 4 young Irishmen, numbers 1 to 4 inclusive. Jim McQuaid, race director at the wheel of the car. As the race approaches Moat in the County Westmeath, the musical town if ever there was one. The Allen brothers, Ray Lynham, so many more, and a bit of music on the streets for us today at the Gap. It's a bit unusual, Pat.
Certainly is, and unfortunately for these, we're looking at Stephen Byrne here now, Dublin Wheelers, but unfortunately for the cyclists, they don't have time to go in and listen to continue with the music for the afternoon.
It's a good straight road now into Athlone, and there's another hot spot in Athlone. There's Stephen Spratt just coming into your picture now, always a strong rider. Was disappointed he didn't make the Irish team for the Olympic Games in Barcelona, but it really was a difficult team to choose this year because there was so many riders almost of equal standard. Here we go, hot spot. And Spratt takes it. Stephen Spratt takes it. Paul Kennedy was again second. That's 3 seconds in a row in the hot spots for Paul. But Spratt's in good form this weekend.
Yes, Spratt's driving on now as they approach Athlone. Now a group of 15 riders got away, and Spratt's at the front of it, driving it on. Paul Kennedy, John Sheehan is also there. John Charleswood is there too.
It might just begin to fragment here now. It looks as though there's an elite group kind of are trying to form here at Athlone.
Coming up now, the uphill sprint in Ballinasloe. Paul Kennedy leading it out there, but young Andrew Roche from the Isle of Man now coming through to take it. Andrew Roche just about pips Kennedy with John Sheehan at 3rd place, but Sheehan placed in practically all the sprints today, so he certainly will be wearing the hotspot jersey as we leave Galway tomorrow.
John Sheehan, 2 wins and 2 thirds, but how about Paul Kennedy? 4 seconds in a row in the hot spots. And as you can see, the field has just got itself sorted out now, and we have a breakaway group here that's going to tell the tale. Number 5 is John Charlesworth from the Diamondback England team. That's Stephen Marr, the very tall Irish boy who's in trouble. You see the service car no doubt coming up to him. I don't think there's a taller rider in Ireland, England or Wales than Marr.
There isn't indeed, no. He's the tallest rider in it now, and he's got a back wheel puncture. He's obviously, you can see from his inexperience, he's panicking a bit. He's worried that the car isn't going to get him up there in time, and he's worried that he mightn't get back on, but his mechanic has him going, and he's back on again before the convoy goes by. And he'll make his way without any difficulty back up to the leading group.
That leading group includes John Charlesworth, Stephen Spratt, Matthew Postle, Darragh McQuaid, Paul Kennedy, John Sheehan, the hotspot men, Andrew Roche, who won the last hotspot. Richard Moore is there too from the England team, Andy Young, Peter Daly, and the 3 young Irishmen, Daly, Byrne and Marr. Pat Killally's there as well. So these are obviously the guys who are going to be first into Galway. Which of them is actually going to be number 1? That's got to be decided as yet. But it's a good field here, Pat.
It's a good bunch, a good, very select group, the strongest men in the race now together, and they're working well together, and they're already opening up a gap now to some 2 minutes now in front of the chasing group. So it really is over for those behind, and these 15 riders have it really among themselves as we approach the last 20 mile of the run into Galway. Chivers at the front now, Pat Killally going on the attack.
Pat Killally there with the purple pants, the yellow top. Chivers just on his wheel there, but not far behind them, Charlesworth and Spratt and Darragh McQuaid. I think we had 15 riders in it in all.
Chivers now on the attack. One of the Scottish riders, Andy Young, of the Scotland team now trying to go clear as well. He opens up a gap, and John Sheehan now on the lookout. 4 riders now drawing slightly clear, being led by Peter Daly, Matthew Postle, John Charlesworth and Stephen Spratt. As they're on the roundabout, young Daly goes wrong and loses his place at the front. Now it's now down to 3 riders at the front.
That's Peter Daly, who just went the wrong side of that roundabout, but he won't be long. He didn't lose much. He just lost his place, not an awful lot. They all be tangled up together pretty well soon again. But this is the move. The little shake-ups are coming now, and this is 3 away, and can we sort these out? There's Charlesworth anyway at the head of affairs. Matthew Postle, the Welshman, in the red top. And I think we'll see that this will be Stephen Spratt not far behind them. Yes, indeed it is. Stephen Spratt. So those are the three, Charlesworth, Postle and Spratt, as they head towards Galway, and 12 others right in their immediate wake.
Coming up now, up Bormore into the finish in Ayr Square, and Charlesworth very, very strong, goes clear of the other two. Charlesworth going clear in the last kilometre. He's going to take the stage, and it's going to be left between a sprint between Spratt and Postle for second place.
Less than 4 3/4 hours for John Charlesworth from the Diamondback England team. A good ride for him. Stephen Spratt and Postle are in the race for second place, and it's Goldendale coast to coast. And the officials check them in. It's a good sprint here for what is in fact fourth place, and it's Darragh McQuaid who takes it. Darragh McQuaid from Ian Chivers and Paul Kennedy. Kennedy up there again.
There, the stage winner John Charlesworth.